All right, 8 people on a bus? That's a
The
great
best.
question.
Everyone needs those few moments to themselves, and so this is my quiet space.
We actually just won the Best Bathroom Award at the bus fair.
We call the outside part of the bus our living room. That's where we play.
Hey, my name is Matt, this is Christy, and this is our amazing bus for us and our 6 kids. Why don't you come take a tour? So Christy and I lived on a boat for a long time, so welcome to our galley. Living tiny there really helped teach us some of the things that we wanted to do to design our kitchen, as you would call it, intentionally. So we have separate breakers kind of dedicated to a lot of the different outlets so that we aren't tripping breakers all the time. So the microwave, which is also a convection oven, it's a combo unit. These are rad because you can bake cookies, bake a pizza, and then warm up vegetables all in one unit. That's on its own kind of 30 amp breaker. We've got a 4-burner stove. We're happy with that, although we don't use it as much as we thought we would because things slosh around when you're driving, but still cool. We've got a built-in air fryer, so actually built it into the cabinet, insulated it. There's a fan and stuff, so it's all built in. Then we have a crock pot up here, and we've got 6 kids, so we cook a lot. That's why the kitchen is big, and that's why we have a humongous refrigerator. So we have like a full, I think it's like 22 square feet. There's an ice maker in there. Yes, because we do lots of hiking, and that's really cool. Got a big sink, and these countertops, I'm really proud of these. These are actually just used IKEA tables that I picked up, like 5 of them for $100 on OfferUp from like a cafe that was closing in Pacific Beach, and epoxied them, glued them together, and I'm really happy. People walk in and that's something they notice, and it makes me happy because it was not expensive or hard to do. Cool little thing are these push buttons here. They latch the cabinets because you're basically driving an earthquake. I cannot emphasize enough that when you're driving a bus, you're driving an earthquake. It's going to throw everything out. So these latch and then they come out. And then that's nice too because you're not catching your belt loops and stuff on the kitchen. So we did a lot of drawers. Drawers are better than cabinets because you don't have to dig. You can just pull them all out and everything's there. That's something we learned from the boat as well. So we've just got, Tupperware, glasses. This is our big heavy. We do a lot of Tupperware because there's a lot of leftovers. You can pre-cook. That's something we do a lot is cook on the road and then set it aside so that we're ready to eat it. So that's a big heavy drawer. Got some nice heavy duty drawer slides. That makes a big difference having ball bearings. Like if you can get drawer slides from like what would you make a toolbox out of? That'll be a lot stronger. So I recommend something like that. This would be the school cabinet. Christy could tell you more about that. Of course, we road school the kids. That's homeschooling with curriculum and then real life experiences all over the world. We're doing basically the junior ranger programs at every national park, every state park we can find. So all the school stuff's in there. There's again, there's outlets, so even the pencil sharpener's plugged in. You don't want things on your counters because, again, you're driving an earthquake. All right, so let's talk about power. We already mentioned the convection oven microwave. We have a full-size fridge. We live completely off-grid. We don't stay in campgrounds. We just live where we want to live. We're kind of like land pirates. Again, we used to live on the boat. Now we're land pirates. So we do what we want. But we have a full-size family, and we don't want to be stopping at laundromats trying to fit a 47-foot bus in a parking lot. So we have a washer-dryer combo. These are rad. They wash, then they dry. You can start them at bedtime, wake up to warm, dry laundry. Although, get a vented one. We didn't get a vented one. We had a vented one on the boat. So when you get one of these, get a vented one. It'll leave things a little bit more dry. We still end up hanging clothes just a little bit. Here's our power system. We've got the mini split. We've got the microwave. We've got a 22 square foot refrigerator. So all that stuff needs a lot of power. We built a 48 volt system with 3,650 watts. So 48 volts gives you basically 4 12-volt batteries in the same amount of space. So I would consider that if you're going to be living off-grid, and here's the deal, filter your build through your needs, okay? So if you're only going to be weekending and you live in a nice climate, you don't have to do everybody's got a spray foam. You may not need a spray foam. You may not need an enormous solar system if you're going to be plugged in. But for us, we want to be land pirates. We want to be off-grid with, 8 people. So we're going to need a lot of appliances. We're going to need a lot of power. So 3,650 watts. 400 amp hours of 48 volt batteries. These are in a server rack. These are really cool because you can build your whole solar system in one spot, bolt it to the wall, and that's just a nice, easy way to do it.
Well, this is our dinette area. This is where the family spends the bulk of our time together, and we love this room. We designed it so that it would easily fit all 8 of us, Matt and I and the 6 kids, comfortably around the table. This is where we eat 3 meals a day. This is also our schooling area. The kids can sit here and do their school. Because we installed seat belts for 8 in these bunks, they can sit up here while we're driving as well for safety. These bunks, salon tables, each open up. They have storage inside. That's our garage area. Each of these 4 has the capacity to hold a ton of tools, our welder, all the things we might need along the way to make repairs or continue making modifications as we see the need. We positioned right by our door intentionally a shoe shelf and water bottle storage area that allows us to grab the things we need to go out on our adventures every day. Welcome to our bunk room. This is the room for our 6 kids. Even though there are 6 of them and we're in a tiny space, it was really important to us that each of them have their own space and that it feel personalized for them. So right when we were about to hit the road, we let each of them go out and pick a theme for their room, design their colors, their new blankets, their storage tubs, all of that stuff so that it would really feel like their own space. They get to decorate the top of each of their bunks with their stickers, their pictures, their drawings, things that they've gathered on the road. They each have a memory foam topped mattress. These are called narrow twins, so they're the same length as a twin mattress, but just a couple inches narrower. It's plenty of space for a child or an adult to sleep very comfortably. They each love their own space, and they each love that they have their own space, and they love that they're close to each other too. They've really gotten to be good friends by sharing this space, yet having the ability to be off on their own as well.
Hi, I'm Ryder. I'm 13, and this is my bunk. I like technology. I run my 3D printer often. Right now, I'm 3D printing these. They screw onto the air valve, the valve stem, on any tire, and I've been selling them at the bus fair. I also make custom models of people's buses, with or without the screw hole, and I sell those separately. It's nice to have my own room where I can do the things that I like and have all my stuff here.
So for us, the idea of living on a bus came shortly after Matt had been diagnosed with terminal brain cancer. We had our 6 kids at the time. The youngest had just been born, and we were really struggling as a family to kind of reframe who we were and figure out who we were going to be in this new and pretty catastrophic season of life. Matt was really sick. He just had a really hard surgery, and we were just struggling. And so the 2 of us went away for a weekend and really thought and prayed and spent time talking about who we were going to be. And the idea of a bus came to us. And, the Lord really just laid it out, and it just kind of unfolded. We had the opportunity to purchase one from a friend of a friend for about $5,000 on Craigslist. We then drove it home. They graciously kept it for us for about a year until Matt was well enough to go get it and drive it home. It sat unworked on our property for about 3 years while he continued to recover. And we just waited and, even questioned the Lord sometimes of like, are we doing the right thing? Why is this not happening? What's going on with this bus? But we really felt in our hearts like God had wanted us to do it and that it was the right thing. And when he started getting better, he started building the bus. And so it took him about 18 months of hard work every day, working and building and planning and strategizing. And I helped as much as I could, but his giftings are definitely the building aspect, and mine are more on the parenting and supervising and household running. So I stuck with that side, and he worked and built and really did a great job on building us a second home. And so that was the motivation behind this trip too, was we wanted to celebrate what the Lord had done in healing our family and in healing Matt's brain after his brain surgery and his cancer, and really go out and talk to a lot of the people who had been praying for us through our hard time. We travel the country and speak in churches and share our story and talk about how the Word of God, the Bible, has impacted our lives and our family and Matt's health, and encourage other Christians in their faith as well. So this has been a really great bonding year for our family in that sense, just getting to be together and work through hurts and hard times and a hard past together and make new memories and have a fresh start. So it's been really beautiful.
Yeah, definitely.
This is one of my favorite spots on the bus. I spend a little bit of time here every day because this is my quiet space. I love my family. It's the reason I went on the road, because I wanted to spend all of my time with the people that God has blessed me with right in my home, that I wanted to pour myself into, pour my life into. But everyone needs those few moments to themselves. And so this is my quiet space. I love my nice, comfortable mattress. We got a nice, thick mattress with a 3-inch memory foam topper on the top of it. And I love that. I keep my books right up here on my shelf. We also chose to wallpaper and ceiling paper our bedroom with our kids' artwork, so that's a lot of fun. We don't have a typical art wall like you might have in your house, but for our 6 kids, we still want to display their handiwork, and so we chose to wallpaper our ceiling and our walls in here with that, and so that's fun to look at and neat to remember when I'm sitting back here and resting in the afternoons.
Let me show you how easy it is to convert our, futon at the moment into our bed. It's a full-size bed that's just the right size for Christy and I. You'll have to decide what's the right size for you. But it's on really heavy-duty drawer sliders like you'd have in a toolbox, like in a, mechanic shop. Those are able to handle a lot of weight. There's 4 or 5 of those, and they're on ball bearings, so this is going to slide really easy. All there is right here is a slide bolt. So we're going to stick that down, and then we just pull till you hear it land flat, and then I've got 2 legs, and these are Velcroed in place. So to fold it up, I've just got 2 ropes that we tucked back there. I'm gonna fold it, and then you can see how easy it slides. Just kind of hip it in place, and then you latch it up, make sure it's pushed in, and ta-done! Welcome to the Bathroom and Adventure for 8 Bus. I think it's really nice. We actually just won the Best Bathroom Award at the bus fair, so that's kind of cool. But this is the same IKEA table, cut up in epoxy. I really like it. This is a basin sink. I pulled that off of OfferUp. I think it was like 35 bucks. Rad. Take a look online. Before you buy something, shop it out and then look around online. You'll save a lot of money with just things that people have extra or whatever. This little waterfall sink. I'm stoked on that. And of course we got a little mirror. It's nice that you can position it too, so it really helps. And then we've got a Max Air fan above that. This is a great place to put your Max Air fan, would be above the stove and then in the bathroom itself. And ours kind of splits the space between the shower and the bathroom, which is awesome. Let's talk frankly about waste. I know it's like awkward, but when you're building a bus, you're always wanting to know. So I'll just talk about it, okay? So let's just remember that we're friends here, okay? The way that this works, okay? You do not want black water. Like when we stay at a state park where there are other RVs and stuff, people have like a $500,000 fifth wheel and they'll come up like, "Do you have a composting toilet? Are those solar panels on your roof?" Like, we're living the life, but and we lived on a boat. Like I said, black water is a pain. You don't want to deal with it. Everybody hates that life. You got to find dump stations. You got to pay for them, and then you got to deal with it. It's gross. Composting toilet is the way to go. There's a lot of choices there. A real popular option is the Nature's Head, but if you have that, you got to churn stuff up. You got to take your toilet apart. You got to carry it out of the bus. It's kind of a mess. I like the Separate a lot. What you're going to want is something that separates liquids from solids, because here's the deal. If you go number 2 and it dries out, it doesn't stink. Just like day old dog potty doesn't stink. So what you need is a toilet that separates that. So you got to separate that. You'll have a urine diverter. That's going to go to your gray water usually. That's a great way to do it because then it's just easy to take care of. You don't have to take it out. And then there's a big fan in there that's going to dry things out. Some of them use a media, which is going to help they dry it out, but then you do have to spin it. You got to turn it and all stuff like that. The toilet we have is nice. It's actually got a little flapper that is closed, except when you sit down, then it opens up so you can go number 2. And then there's a fan that when it flaps closed is isolating just that area. So it's able to suck all the air out of that pretty quickly. And it works great. We're really happy with it. It also has its own little discreet bucket with a bag in it, and it has a little lid on it. So you're not taking things apart and bagging things up and just and still when you're in the gas station with a bucket, you're like, "Can we talk about solar panels in a couple minutes?" But essentially you're just going to just take it out. It's no big deal. And it's so much better than dealing with black water. You're not tied to anything. You don't have to go find a place. And I would really recommend it. But it is expensive, and you can also build something similar. So if that's not in your budget, you're not you can figure it out. So take a look online. There's ways you can get your inverter. There's a way that you could build your own toilet. But I would say think about what's an easy and discreet way to take it out. Is there a way to isolate the fan and close things off so that I'm not going to have to churn things into it? Just makes it nice when it's not that big of a deal. Well, hello. I'm just hanging out in my shower with all my clothes on. Welcome to our shower. We did a split bath. I'm really happy that we did that, and I think that's why we won Best Bathroom Award at the bus fair, is because we have a split bath, and each one has got its own purpose. It's purpose built. I like a split bath because someone can be using the potty, and someone can be showering and using the shower and getting clean. We didn't want to give up any of our creature comforts. We really wanted to build a home on wheels, so we actually take showers every day. A little secret: a lot of van people and bus people kind of shower every 2 or 3 days. And there are times when we do that if we can't get water. But we have 200 gallons of fresh water. And I want to tell you about something else we did that helps water go a little bit further. I installed a recirculating shower. The recirculating shower is going to basically pump the water from the drain up through 5 different filters and a UV light that kills all the germs, and then back through the shower head. So once you get the water warm, you can just keep recycling the water, and that's a really good thing to do. However, it doesn't work quite as well, in reality as it did on paper. It was really hard to design, and what happens is those filters store all of the water. So they cool off, and then you've got to rinse a good bit of hot water through them before they become warm again. So if I did it again, I would do it with a tanked water heater somewhere in line of that. But it's still really useful when the weather's nice and you don't need it to be like piping hot. It really does save some water. It's pretty cool. Now, this is a residential shower. It's a corner shower. It's a 32-inch shower, which is great. Again, living on the boat, we had kind of an idea of what size shower we wanted. But because I did a 16-inch roof raise, we were able to just straight up put a shower in there. So it has its own pan. And because we did the roof raise, we were able to put enough insulation in the floor. The floor is 5 inches thick that I could run the P-trap and all that stuff right through the floor and then to the gray tank. So that, well, actually, then to the valve that decides whether it's going to go through the gray tank or back through the shower head. So I love it. This is nicer than our shower at home. If you have any questions, leave a comment. How much does a bus cost? That's a great question. And if you spend too little, you're going to be in trouble. If you spend too much, then you wasted it. So look around, make sure you don't get a rusty bus. There's a lot of places to get buses. AAA Bus Sales is a great place where you can get one that's been gone through mechanically, and it costs you a little bit more than just getting one at auction, but that's because you're getting a nice bus. We bought the bus for about $5,500, and he was cool enough to let us keep it at his property because we didn't have a place to put it yet. That's something you got to think about, is where am I going to build this bus? And so for us, we were able to use a little bit of inheritance money that I'd gotten from my grandma to pour a pad and then bring the bus down, and that helped us fund the thing. A really cool place, the FM3 road trip people did a benefit road trip that helped earn a good amount of money that helped us pay for the bus conversion. And like I said, I'm scrappy. I used a lot of the junk that I'd been saving behind our garage, and she was always like, And then the bus is not finished. At some point you say, you know what, I'm gonna go live my life and I can finish the bits as we go. And so there's lots of things that aren't perfect, and there's things that we've added along the way as well. So don't wait till everything's perfect or worry too much about it. We did the roof raise, that definitely added some cost to it. We did a big solar system, again, filter your build through your needs. So we needed to do that. We invested most of our money into the solar. Honestly, that cost more than the bus by a good bit, but it was worth it.
It was. It made me nervous. It made me nervous, but it was worth it. It was a good choice. That was a good place to put our money. And my other thought or input on what you've said so far is that it was a good choice to look for a mechanically sound bus.
Yes.
Because we don't have anything to worry about while we're driving. You can have an ugly wall, but if you have an ugly engine, you have problems while you're out.
No doubt.
So I'm really glad that we chose to choose a good engine, sound mechanically, and then put our money into a nice solar system so that it still feels like we're living with all of the things that we enjoyed about our house back home.
Literally all the comforts of home. All right, so our back door opens onto a patio. This is unusual for a bus, and I'm really glad that we've got it. It's really amazing. We keep our 8 bikes on here, and we use those to just explore national parks and state parks and just have fun on bike rides. One of the great things about Buslife is you go to sweet places, and you're gonna go to so many nature things that you didn't even know existed. And it's really fun to go explore those. A bike is a great way to do that for free. So we have bikes on here normally, and then of course I store, it's nice to just have some stuff that you can just store. Back to the repurposing of things. This was a car trailer at one point, and this, if you turn your head to the side, you'll recognize is an IKEA bunk bed. Bed here, bed there. I just grabbed it off a curb, again, one of those things where you're like, haha, see, this is why I kept it. Thought I might make a gate out of it or whatever, it was metal and it looked cool. But now it's the perfect side for our bus. Something someone told me is don't make a ladder too obvious on the side of their bus, because they'd come find homeless people just hanging out on top of their bus. So one of the things that I did was just kind of make it just little footholds that'll get you up there. So for me, it's just a matter of going up. So here we are on the roof deck, and I love the roof deck. It's a place for me to come up in the morning, I'll read my scripture, I'll do some yoga, and it makes any place cool. Like if once in a while you end up in a Walmart parking lot, you'd be amazed if you come up on the roof deck, you can see what's around the Walmart, the nature that you're in. We're in these small towns and stuff. So I definitely love the roof rack. It's something that's worth considering doing. Let's talk about solar for a minute. I mentioned that, again, filter your build through your needs. We wanted to bring our whole family, 8 people, on a big adventure off-grid full-time. And so we needed a lot. These are 455 watt panels, and there are 8 of them. That's a lot, so it's whatever it is, 3,650 watts or something like that. They're 48-volt panels. We did a 48-volt system. For us, we did these really cool skylights over the emergency exits. They're made by EZ Tops worldwide, and they're really, it's like $100, and you can order them tinted, 5 inches tall, 4 inches tall. They make them custom. That way you're not like fabricating some kind of crazy hokey thing from Home Depot. By adding the roof deck over the porch, that allowed us to have more real estate for solar, because again, that was just a need for us. So I'm really happy with our roof situation. I love being up here. I'm kind of happy that you're here with me. Welcome to the cockpit area. You're going to spend a lot of time here, hopefully, because that's the best part of having a house on wheels, is that you take it places. I really do like my cockpit area. A couple things that I would recommend that I think are important, that I'm glad I did, or that someone told me and I'm just so happy about. This one's kind of obvious, but you're going to need a rear view camera. They're not expensive, but you're definitely going to need one, because where you used to have in a bus 360-degree visibility, like if you drove your bus home from somewhere, it's like all windows and a giant big convex mirror. But when you build a house in between you and the rest of the thing, you're not going to be able to see what's back there. You're going to need to back it up. So have a backup camera. I keep that on all the time so I can see cars coming up and keep an eye on what's going on. Buses have really good mirrors, so seeing along the side of the bus isn't a problem, but man, having that there. The other thing that's going to be your friend is a radio. If you have a partner, definitely get them a radio, have a radio, because they can hop out of the bus and see things that you can't see. So we're able to just park in the most really tight situations, and that really helps. If you want to go see a cool museum downtown or a cool science museum with your kids, you're going to need to maybe even parallel park your bus or something like that, or back into some crazy situation, or back out of a situation that you thought you could get into and then realize you can't get into. One more pro tip when you're building your bus that it would be so easy to forget, and it would be an oversight, because this is just something that's so awesome. When you got your bus, keep this mirror, okay? It's a wrapped mirror so that a bus driver is able to see all the kids and be like, hey, kids, knock that off or whatever. But here's the deal. When you're driving, now you're a part of the living space. So when your kids are doing stuff or your wife's cooking dinner or whatever, you're able to just be a part of the conversation. They can look you in the eye. It's really, really cool thing. I'm really glad that we left this. Someone mentioned it to me at some point, and I underestimated how amazing that would be. But it really is true. You're piloting the ship, and you're also a part of what's going on around the family. We're homeschooling so the kids can read to me or whatever, but it's not just it's like they're there. So I really encourage you to do that. It's not a big deal. Just save it. Don't throw it away. All right, 8 people on a bus. That's a great question. Yeah, it is the best. It's absolutely the best, because we can spend all our time with the people we love the most, which is awesome. Yeah, there's a few things, think through the space. How can you use it well? Like we said, the split bath was a great decision for that. Because we have kids, we wanted seat belts. The dinettes were a good choice, because you can play games, you can eat dinner, you can do your homework. All of that. It's a little bit better than maybe having a couch for 8 people. It would be a little bit more messy and whatnot.
We really enjoy it. It's neat to be together. There are some things about parenting in a small space that are easier than in a big space. It's easier to pull all the kids into one room and supervise school in one small room where they can't wander off and start playing without you noticing.
Yep. I hear you back there.
Right. There are some things that are more challenging when it rains and everybody has to play inside. We can get a little bit irritable, but I know that every parent can when it rains and their kids are stuck inside their house. So really, is it any different? No. We call the outside part of the bus our living room. That's where we play. It allows us to experience nature, to enjoy the outdoors. Inside, we talked earlier about how we really made sure that everyone had their own little nook of space. Even if it's small, it's important to be able to be yourself and to be quiet in your head and be able to reflect on whatever it is that you're thinking about, whether you're 6 or 43. That little bit of personal zone is important. So that's built into our bus. A 40-foot bus is more space than you might think that it would be. It's plenty of space for 8 people to spread out and do their own things, especially when you have great big America as your backyard.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, so real quick, thanks for following. I hope that you will. Imperial Beach Dad on all of the social platforms. You can follow us, and we have a GoFundMe and stuff like that for my, the life I gotta live right now. You're welcome to join in on that. And we do some fun stuff. If you want to get one of those really cool 3D printed, bus tire cabs for yourself, my son would be happy to sell one to you. I do a lot of art by commission, so you can reach out to me for that. I do a lot of caricatures of cars, and from my kind of hot rodding life, if you dig into my channel, you'll see a lot of that. #PunishStang. It's a lot of fun. So there's all that stuff, and we would love to see you. Yeah,
Thanks
DM me. I
watching.
answer every DM.
Yeah, thanks for watching.